What's up, guys? It's Julian. Today I'm going to be showing you all about how to make modern electro drums. To go along with this video, I've just dropped a new sample pack called Best Electro Drums Ever. The link is right at the top of the description. What this is I have 5 of these kits with all the individual layers to these drum loops. So if you look in the folder here, you can see it's got all these individual layers, all the individual drums for each of these loops. I'll play you each one now. So you can hear it's a bunch of super solid loops, and you get all the individual layers for each loop, plus the full Ableton files for each loop, so you can really take these apart and learn from them. Plus, it includes some free bonus acid lines and some bonus effects. So yeah, it's a really solid library. Don't sleep on this one, guys. Again, you get all these different individual loops for each of these kits, plus the Ableton files, so it's everything that you need to make really high quality tracks in the style. I just wanted to give you guys a really solid resource, and also not only is it going to help you guys, this also helps support me. I don't make a whole lot off of YouTube alone, but with these sample packs, I'm able to keep bringing you guys new videos every single day, showing you stuff like this that isn't out there on YouTube yet. So yeah, link is at the top of the description. It helps support me. It'll also help support you guys making your best music. You know, this is really some of my best work. I put a lot of time into this style and understanding how these drums work. So go grab that at the top of the description so you can make your best music. Thank you so much for the support, guys. And let's dive in. So I've got a drum loop in front of me, and what we're going to start with is going to be the main drums. So just like I always talk about with all these other styles, you want to start with these main, like, right in your face drums first. That being the kick, the snare, and the hi-hats. Right, we have this whole loop here, but all these other layers, you know, it's really just background stuff compared to this. Like, this is like really the meat of the drums, so you really got to get these solid. And it's not actually that hard. You can see, like, here, for example, it's just a dry kick and a snare, but it's the reason why they're dry is because it's very high quality samples going in, right? Like, this is just already a very punchy 808 kick. And I think that's the thing with the modern style of this stuff too, is like, it's not just having like the 808 kick, but it's about really having like that punchy, like very modern sounding 808 kick. Which, if you want this one, link is at the top of the description. And same thing with the snare. This is just like a very hard hitting 808 snare. And you kind of want these two to be equal. Like the kick and snare should hit equally as hard. And then for the hi-hats, so it's this little pattern. And I actually made this with the Ableton 808 core kit. So yeah, it's literally just like, if you have Ableton, you have this. It's that one right there. But you can hear the hi-hats, you know, it's not just like, it's very groovy, and there's a lot of attention to detail when it comes to like really putting those open hi-hats in the right place. And again, not just doing like, but something actually unique and exciting. So again, those are not that hard. I think these can be, it's almost like it's harder to not mess it up. Like, it's so tempting to go and use a bunch of extra drum bass and saturation and stuff on these, but really, like, just find some solid samples and let those shine. So then from there, we move up to a little bit of background percussion. So you can hear there's even more background hi-hats in there to just kind of fill that out a bit. Without getting in the way of the other hi-hats, like, you can still hear the 808. And what that comes down to is really just the sample selection. Like, these two hi-hats aren't going to clash with the 808 hi-hats just by like what they actually are sonically. But those two together has a lot of groove. Cool. So the next thing I want to talk about is actually going to be making some percussion using a synth, because with this style, you know, it's very, well, it has that very like synthy, like almost like techno sort of thing to it. And I think if you only make the percussion with samples like we've done so far, obviously that works really well for the stuff we've already used it on, but you want something that's a little bit more like moving and evolving, and you can really only get that with a synth, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So for this sound, you can hear it's one percussion, right? It's just this white noise inside of operator here. We got a bandpass filter with a shaper, an envelope on it to make it a bit punchy, and then also an LFO on the filter. And by having that LFO on the filter just like constantly moving it and changing it, you can hear it's the same sound, but it's slightly different. And again, you can't really get that with samples. Maybe if you put like some effects on top of them that have some movement, but you really don't get that same thing with samples. So that is why a synth is really good for making this kind of percussion. But you don't want to do too much with the synth percussion. Like if you try to make your kick with the synth, a lot of times I think those are kind of underwhelming. Same thing with snares. But for this like atmospheric like percussion that's just gonna sit really nicely on top of everything, it's perfect. So we got that going into this phaser here, where yeah, you can see it's like a slow LFO. So it's giving even more movement. Then we have an echo, and then the last thing on here is this amp. And the amp is really important. If I turn that off, see, it's not quite the same sound. The amp really makes it like that, like percussive, like punchy, more aggressive thing. So that's important, and that's why we put it at the end, because also if you put it like after these effects, it kind of brings out the echo and the phaser. Cool. And then the last thing that we have here to talk about are these two little percussions. Now, these are really important too. And what these represent is, you know, all this other percussion here is kind of like constantly happening, right? Like if you look at the MIDI, it's just always going and going and going. But then if you bring in these two, you can see they don't come in as frequently, right? It's like once every 2 bars. So it's that contrast there between the part where it's really busy and then the part where it's just like, yeah, you have your main groove and then these come in and fill that out. So yeah, you just want to make sure you don't have all your percussion just constantly going. Have some that's constantly going and some that's just popping in and out like this, and you'll have that contrast. And yeah, so that's going to be it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. As always, make sure to like this video as well as subscribe. And let me know what you think of this video in the comments. Like I said in the beginning, you can get my new pack, the best electro drums ever. The link is right at the top of the description. Do not sleep. It's right there. Just go click on it and grab it. Listen to the demos. Once again, it's these 5 super solid kits where you get all these individual layers. As you can see, every individual layer, plus the Ableton files, plus the free bonus asset lines and the free bonus effects. So it's a super huge value. Again, super nice drum loops. And this is going to really help support you guys making your best music ever. You know, if you need help, if you want some new inspiration, maybe you can make great drums, but you just want some new ideas, whatever it is, you can get it all in this pack. Again, it'll really help you take your tracks to the next level. Thank you so much for the support, guys. Every little sale and every little bit helps. And yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow with another video.